Now that you've set up your center drill and your workpiece, please make sure that you have more than one thumb width. Make sure that your slot is underneath, not facing up. Some of you I saw facing up, so I think I caught you guys and asked you all to change. So that's good. Right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to set this surface where my finger is to 0. Now this is the y-axis. Okay, this is the y-axis. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this. It's this surface of the. Be careful when you touch. Don't touch it because it's sharp. This surface is going to touch this surface here. Okay, so the center cutter, the center drill.
Someone's calling you.
Never mind, just ignore.
No man.
The center drill will come and then it will touch this surface. This surface here is here. Okay, come, it will touch and it will flick the paper away. Alright. Then what will happen is that after we do that, we will, after you touch it, you move it away. You move the vise away. Okay. Now this is very dicey. Okay, because the drill chunk is very close to the vise. So when you're moving, you have to be very careful and observant and make sure that it doesn't bang onto the vise. Okay, so it goes in by this much is good enough, right? Then what's going to happen is that I am going to put it out first so that I don't cut myself with the center drill. And then I take a small piece of paper, alright, small piece of paper, and I'm going to put it at the back surface here. Okay, I'm going to put it near the edge so that when it gets flicked out, I can see it. Okay, then I bring I can bring this down so that it doesn't hit against. Okay, then I bring this down. Okay, and I check and make sure that this doesn't touch this. Okay, and I'll be going back and forth, right? And then I'll turn on the machine forward. Okay, then I'll move, and you need to watch your head where you're moving. Okay, and then or you can come to this side, and what you do is you tap. Now this is a center drill, so the sides, the spirals are actually sharp. So if you go too much, you actually ruin your surface. And it is less than 0, so you actually need to go to another location, do it again to get your 0. So you have to be very careful and tap very gently and be very patient about it. Okay? Don't tap so hard until you end up ruining your surface. Oh, I'm very close already. Then you watch for the piece of paper. Okay, the piece of paper flew out. Then what you do is you stop the machine. Okay, and you are going to push the vise this way. Okay, you're going to push the vise this way. It's going to come out. Alright? It's going to come out. And you set your Y, because this is the Y axis, Y to 0. You don't bother about the X, you don't bother about the Z. You set the Y to 0. Yes, Andre?
Then we actually stop the machine, set the Y to 0, then we move.
You stop the machine, set the Y to 0, move also can. Or you move, then you set the Y to 0, also can.
Which one will you recommend? Because it's like, where
Okay, let's standardize on that. Once you stop the machine, you set the Y to 0, then you move it one side. Okay? Alright. Now, once this is done already, the current position is that this surface now has touched this, and this is the 0 position, right? But what's the diameter of this cutter? Huh? 8 mm. So what I want to do is I want to move this cutter to the center. So how much should I move? 4 millimeters. Okay. And over here I put +4. Okay? Why is it plus 4? Because plus is going in, minus is going out. You get it? You see the values over there? So I'm going to go to plus 4 mm. Okay, I can do more. Plus 4 mm. Now once it's at plus 4 mm, I set the y to 0 again. Okay? So the center of this is at this surface here. You get it? Alright? Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move the y, because now my y is 0 already, I can move it around. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my x to 0. Same thing, a piece of paper. Make sure it's not overly wet. Okay? And then I move it in. Okay? And turn on the, and then we move slowly. Okay? So you move slowly until it touches the paper. Then once it touches the paper, you stop the machine. Okay? Then what I do is I stop the machine. Alright? And this time around, do I set the x to 0 or the y to 0?
X.
Yes, very good. I set the x to 0. Okay? And what I do next is I move this away. Right? I move this away. Okay? And I go in by how much? 4 millimeters again. Alright? 4 millimeters again. And this time around, I'm moving my table this direction here. Okay? So this direction here is minus 4. Okay? So you go minus 4. Alright? Then what I do is I set my x to 0. Okay? Now, don't try and move everything to 0 now, because if you do, then the corner of this will be inside the center drill. Do you know what I'm saying? So now, once you set both to 0, alright, then you come back here and then I'll show you the next step, how we go about drilling it. Okay?